Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope all is well with you and yours. What's good, what's good, what's good? So, tonight's question is, who has an ETF to track the top public companies holding Bitcoin? Galaxy Digital, BlackRock, Bitwise, or Fidelity? Let's see who's done their homework. Shikuzea, what's good? Yeah, we do have Instagram running tonight. I need to let all my people know on Instagram that everything is going to happen over on YouTube because we just don't have enough people on Instagram. Whew. Not that I don't like Instagram. It's just we don't get a lot of people. You know, they come, they go. I'm looking at zeros all the time. Anywho, what happened today? What in the world happened today? Let's see, the market went down to 77, 76, 77, and then it came back all the way up to, I think, 83 and change. Yeah, that happened. That happened. Why did it happen? Apparently, there was a tariff adjustment that was announced today, and that tariff adjustment is going to be, or was announced to be 50%. Not 10, not 20, not 25, not 30, 50% tariffs on certain items coming from Canada. So it's the back and forth. It's the back and forth that I think, is going to hurt us the most. I think so. And I'm not the only one that's thinking that. Bianca Satterfield, have not seen you in a minute. I was feeling hurt. Thank you for doing your research. Leroy, was good? Diamond Jack, what's going on? Chicano, what's up? Now, I'm not the only one that's thinking this. BlackRock CEO warns of inflation risks amid Trump's economic policies. Larry Fink cautioned that Trump's nationalist policies, including mass deportations and tariffs, could fuel inflation, reaffirming Bitcoin's potential as a hedge. True, but I think a lot of people are going to suffer first. Everything's good, Chicano. Just make sure I didn't miss anybody. Hutanic's in the house. I'm having to catch the after shows lately. That sucks. I'm sorry, Bianca. I kind of miss sending you to the corner. Just kidding. Gosh. Sometimes we don't understand things initially. I don't even know where that's coming from. Give me a hint. Give me some kind of a hint. I don't know what you mean by that, what you're referencing. Tell me something. So when I look at the economy right now, it's looking to me like there are a lot of things that are just not going well. They were not thought out well, right? And I'm just wondering, when is somebody going to stop and say, a sledgehammer doesn't work? Sometimes you need a scalpel. You know what I mean? Like a hammer isn't the tool that's gonna unscrew a screw. Is what I'm getting at. At least in my humble opinion. It's been my experience. It's not gonna unscrew a screw. I've tried it many a time. Now, there's a litany, or seemingly a litany, of things that you could point to that are going to affect our economy. Everything you don't like could yield benefits. We can't understand in the present. Hindsight, it will be. I disagree with that. Some of us do actually have an understanding about what the impacts and choices could lead us to. It's a decision tree analysis. If you go this way, if you do this, these things could happen, so on and so forth down the decision tree. So I don't believe that, just because I don't like something, I don't understand it, or I don't understand it, hence I don't like it. It's not the way it works with me. I actually try to do the research. Like I said, I think there are a lot of things that we could do, but it's how we do them that also matters. I was listening to a podcast with a whole bunch of billionaires, right? And they were saying the same thing. They're kind of like, well, we like the idea about what he's trying to do, but yeah, now he's learning that execution means something. And there you go. These are very smart people. You're looking at politics. I'm looking at economic impacts. Two totally different conversations. And understand is probably the wrong word. Not having all the information is probably the right phrase. We don't have all of the information to be able to understand what's going on. That doesn't mean that we're not capable of understanding what's going on. So for me, Envision Lawn was good. So for me, I'm looking at it from a perspective of, we also don't know who's listening. I will say that. I do have some friends in politics that do listen to the show, and they would definitely be in the know. So I don't agree with that statement, like, in any kind of way. There are people out there that do have an understanding, that do understand things. If you look at the history of the country economically, I'm not talking about the politics of it all. I'm talking about how things are being done right now. I don't care about why. Think about it. I don't care about why. I think about the how. I'm thinking strictly about the how it's being done. The politics behind it could care less at the moment. When I'm talking about the bags, I could care less. You know what I mean? It's more like you can affect that kind of a change without causing so much global turmoil. That's a fact. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. There are many ways that you can go about negotiating. But taking a sledgehammer to things and negotiating only in one way ever. Only negotiates in one way ever. One size doesn't fit them all, is what I would say. And good evening, Paula. Thank you for doing your research. So, from an economic perspective, there are a lot of things that are going on that's going to affect a lot of places. Mass deportations, I get it. Who are we deporting? Are we deporting people that are legally in the system? Because those are the rules. Or that's what's been laid down. So are we deporting people that are legally in the system? Highly possible. Are we having our businesses having trouble because a lot of their workers are illegal? There's another one. There are a lot of things that we could be doing better. Rampant spending? Yeah, no, I'm not down with that. But what are things that are rampant spending? Oh, that's right. We're going to have a $4.5 trillion tax cut. For who? Everything else is focused on keeping your eyes over here. But that $4.5 trillion tax bill for tax cuts for people not like me, not like most of the people probably listening to this channel, that's a problem. Our wallets don't match who the tax cuts are for. Most of us, I would say. So I have a problem with that. Yo, Lindo, what's going on? Rick Ritchie, what's good? There will always be someone complaining. Highly possible. But I want you to think about how it's being done. I don't think you guys understand me. I'm not against austerity. But when you implement austerity, there are ways to implement that without causing turmoil. That's my point. That's my point. And you're thinking that it's a complaint. Okay, when I started this, I said BlackRock CEO is saying the same thing. There are a lot of people out there saying the same thing. There are ways to go about doing things. There are ways to go about doing things that will get you the same results, maybe even better results. We're going to face economic turmoil, and the people that are going to be affected the most are not the people that are causing the turmoil. I told you before, there's a 25% hit on electricity going into Michigan, Minnesota, and New York. That's fact. That means we made a move and didn't have a contingency plan in place. That's something where you can sit down and you can have a discussion. What's going on, AC Power? Share my anointing. I'm not anointed anything. So you start to figure out that, holy moly, there are things that, yeah, I could see we could use a cut here, we could use a cut there, we could do this, we could do that. But when you say that we're going to implement all of these, money saving things, but you miss the obvious. I told you guys weeks ago, go look up how many contracts all of Elon Musk's companies have. That's not wasteful? Why did we need to land on the moon again? For those of us that believe we landed on the moon. Why do we need to research going to Mars? Why do we have to do any of that? Go do research on that. Before you come wagging your finger at me, go do research on that. Go do some research on who has government contracts, how they got those government contracts. Why do FAA towers have Starlink in them? Now, they all got the devices. So I'm just sitting back and wondering how, I told you, austerity needs to happen. $37 trillion in debt? $37 trillion in debt. Personal debt, as an aggregate in the United States, is over $1 trillion. I'm just saying, we shouldn't be giving out contracts when we're trying to figure out how to get rid of contracts, how to stop contracts. Are we stopping the right contracts? That causes turmoil. It causes turmoil. Feet pounding the pavement. Hey, people lose jobs. I get it. Austerity is a big deal. I completely get it. I completely understand it. But in a very short time, we went from a balanced budget to $37 trillion in debt. That's not a party problem. It's not. Both parties put into that debt. I'm not happy at all. But there are ways that we can go about pulling that back, fixing it. I just think there are better ways. It's a scam if everyone paid off all the debt and there is no... I don't even know what that means. What's M2? I don't know what that means. I have no idea. I'm sorry. It's a scam if everyone paid off all the debt and there is no M2 money left. Yeah, I can't figure that out. I cannot figure that out. It's not worth it to me if we're cutting the wrong programs. It's not worth it to me if we're going to tell people that it's going to cost 25% more money for you to get power from another country because your country can't get you that power. We didn't think about it first. I'm sure if we'd have thought about it first, we could have figured it out. We absolutely could have figured it out. That means there are regions in this country that can't get power from within. Gonna hurt? Sure. Who is it gonna hurt? It's not hurting the wealthy. They're making changes to what they have. They're making changes so that they're cash heavy. Yeah, opens the door to nuclear energy, but there are different ways. We could have put things in place. SMR has been around for a long time. right? So what is a small modular reactor or something like that? I forgot what SMR stands for. I think that's close. So basically, it's basically a smaller nuclear power plant that you can build. Yep. But that door has been open. We've been getting power from Canada for those three states for a long time, or those regions of those states for a long time. We could have put one of those in, or a few of those in, to solve the problem before we did this. Sometimes you've got to lay the groundwork for the bigger move. See what I mean? Anybody that says that I'm wrong in that statement, go rethink that. I think a lot of the things that we're doing could be good. I just think that we need to think about them more. We need to move more pragmatically. That's what I'm saying. Hello, VJ Toss. VJ, I never left. I just wasn't doing it on Instagram because we've never had more than 10 people watch us on Instagram. So everything's gonna happen on YouTube. On YouTube in a little while on Grow My Bag. That's why. So thank you, but yeah, I'd rather you start moving over. M2 equals fully diluted circulating supply. I don't understand how that plays into that sentence. If you don't understand what M2, which is 101, then I don't know I have anything to say. Okay. I think that's a harsh statement, but yeah, okay. Go ahead. Not everybody's going to understand what you're talking about. So if you're using a term, a shorthand term for something, not everybody's going to know what that means. Facts. I know there are probably a lot of people on here who didn't understand what M2 meant. Because fully diluted circulating supply is usually FDCS. Pretty sure nobody knew that. So I get what you're saying, but again, said it last night, saying it tonight. Not everybody's going to know what's going through your head and how you think, and the knowledge that and has the same level of knowledge that you have. So whenever I see something, I try to call it out so that everybody can understand what's being said. It's not about it dictates the strength. It's not about people don't understand what it means. It means that people didn't understand what you meant by M2. That's not something you should get frustrated about. We're trying to have a level conversation so everybody can take part in the conversation, right? And that's something that not everybody knows. Read his last comment. Oh, that almost made me tear. That's not a comment toward Hutatic. That's a comment in general to everybody. Some of us have a certain knowledge that we have, and I know I remember certain obscure things. And I realized early that when I started doing videos, I can't use those obscure things. Nobody's going to be able to understand that. And so I do a lot of speaking engagements. And so, yeah, I kind of use it to my advantage to kind of go, yeah, slow down, Eddie. Slow down. Back up. You're losing people. That's what I literally say that to myself like all the time. You are most welcome, VJ. I want you guys. Kay Lundstedt, I'm sorry I missed you. You know, there are a lot of people on Instagram that, like right now, I've said hello to like 4 or 5 people on Instagram, and right now there are only 2 listening. That's why everything's over there on YouTube. Because I can see the numbers on YouTube. This Instagram, people are they catch you when they catch you. You know what I mean? Like there's no way I can actually hold up a sign that says, hey, 8 p.m. I'm going to be on. Remember, I was pushing out to YouTube, pushing out to Instagram for a while. So I could be consistent, so I could actually see if it's worth it to push out to Instagram. Instagram's not really made for that. It's really not made for something like this. In my humble opinion. I'm hoping you finish what I am saying because you know I hate keyboards. I know you hate keyboards. It's much better when you're talking. In case you guys don't know, Hutanik is one of our big baggers. And when you hear him speak, it's not the same as when you see him type. It's not the same. It's not the same. I want you to lose me so I can figure it out with my research. What? You learn differently than other people. You know what I mean? You're one of those, I'm going to leave you in the middle of the woods and you're going to figure out how to get back. See ya. You're one of those. Some people need the breadcrumbs. Then they'll understand what it is that they had to go through. You know what I mean? Everybody learns, most people learn differently. That's the problem. Excuse me. But more news. Coinbase got back into India because they started doing things right. So they got there. California shuts down 26 scam operations. About $4.6 million worth of losses there in those websites. It's so easy to scam people, and that's a problem. VJ, did you do your homework? Let me know if you've done your homework. I'll be very upset if you didn't do your homework. Right? I learn like that too. I go into a room and hear people talking about something I don't understand. Later, I do the research so I can have a conversation in those places eventually. Yes, but not everybody learns like that. Sort of like when you go to college, right? A lot of people learn in a condensed amount of time about a whole bunch of stuff, but they don't really necessarily go deep. That's why you've got to go back and get your master's. You got to go back and get your PhD. Yeah. Some people learn better in those kind of settings. Some people learn better by being dropped in the middle of the woods. Some people learn better by reading. Excuse me. Some people learn better by listening. Just saying. Rod, answer this question for me. Why so many people hate XRP? I have no idea. I don't know anybody that hates XRP. Or if I do, I don't recall. So I can't answer that question. Did not do my homework. Been fighting some virus since we have missed each other. What? I don't recall getting any affidavit. Hutanik, did you get an affidavit, David, that said that VJ Tosh could actually get sick? Nobody. I don't think anybody's seen that. You're on timeout. Cut that out. Don't get sick. Get better. Fight hard. We missed you. There are 100 crypto religions. There could be more. What else is there? Bitcoin miners are increasing their sell-off. They want the cash. They want the cash. But for me, it kind of goes toward, I'm going to sell now because I think it's going to go lower. I'm going to keep doing what I do, but I'm going to sell now because I think it's going to go lower. I know you're fighting hard. I know you're fighting hard. Have you gone to the doctor? Seriously, no joke, because, I'm just hoping it's just the flu. You know what I mean? And if you're listening now, this counts toward research. Van Eck registers Avalanche ETF Trust in Delaware. That's actually big news. I'm telling you, like, right now I'm looking at things and I'm saying, things aren't so great. They're not so great. They're not looking so great. But then I see moves like this and I'm kind of like, It's like, yeah, I wonder if this is a bear trap. I wonder if it's a bear trap. Even if it's not. Long bear trap, then the bulls take over. Then the bears take over. Then the bulls take over. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm looking at everything and I'm just kind of saying, I think there's a lot right here, right now, even though the SEC has delayed the decision on the XRP ETF, if that's what you were getting at, Rod. That's not hate. That's just, they're going to delay. I don't know why, though. Postponed ruling on Grayscale's XRP ETF application with final decision expected by October. But, yeah, we expected that. While Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse remains optimistic about approval due to growing investor interest. You need the good news. You need the good news. And so for me, it's, well, October. So does that mean we're going to have some good news in October? Because that's not the only one. That's not the only one. So you would have a string of them happen then. I feel like there is a market manipulation concerning XRP. Ooh, what makes you feel that there's market manipulation with regard to XRP? And who do you think is manipulating the market? My schedule has changed. I do homework after 8 p.m. Well, it's after 8 p.m. Get with it. Just saying. I was looking for somebody to make a comment. Rod, did you catch that? Let's see, what else was there? OKX refuted claims of an EU investigation under MiCA regulations and involvement in laundering stolen funds while criticizing Bybit's handling of a recent hack. I think OKX should like really shut up. Like that, how Bybit handled the hack, textbook. They could teach a class on that. Hutanic, I think you're onto something. I am thinking the recession happens Q1 2026. They will duct tape it this year, meaning they'll flood the rest of the year with nothing but good stuff. That's highly possible. I can actually see that in my. If you look at the good news that's scheduled from now to the end of the year, I could see that. I still don't think the back end of this year is going to be good though, because that's by that time, Citi has spent its $600 million on restructuring, as they call it, restructuring. I think other companies are doing the same thing. You have a lot of companies out there that say they have a lot of jobs that are open, but those jobs never get filled. Gee, I wonder why. Or if they do get filled, they're filled by the consultants that are there. And depending on how those consultants are there, you could be looking at a lot of H-1B visas that get, extended jobs. I'm telling you, we're offshoring too many jobs. Nobody's paying attention to that. Nobody's paying attention to the effect of H-1B visas as well. Those have huge impacts. These tech companies that say, oh, well, we need the people. There aren't enough people here to be able to do this and blah, blah, blah. They always leave out that word cheaply. It's cheaply. There aren't enough people that will enable us to get this done cheaply or cheaper than we have been. There you go. I don't need an H-1B visa for a full stack developer. We have plenty of full stack developers in the United States. Seriously. I think the people who own millions in XRP are driving down the price to drive out regular people. I think they might be spending that time doing it with other coins. I think Ripple is busy cutting deals. I think right now XRP is suffering from what everybody else is suffering from, which is bad news. I'm telling you, as soon as the word tariff was mentioned, markets tanked. I have the graph. I've been showing it to people. That's how I'm thinking. We will be in an illusion or borrowed time in Q4. I think that starts in Q3. I think you're right, but I think it starts in Q3. Right? I think that it's going to be a problem. You are most welcome, VJ Toss. See, participation. That's all I'm asking for. But I'd like you to participate over here. Go over to YouTube. Join us on YouTube. There's more stuff going on. Dark Faria, huh? Have you been here before? Dust. That's your first comment. Holy moly, welcome. All right, so your question is, how high do you think IBIT can go by 2030. I'm not even going to guess. I'm not going to bother to guess. It doesn't work like that. It's not the same as saying how high do you think Bitcoin's going to go? Because it's fluid, because people can move in and move out at any time for any reason, whatever. So yeah, I wouldn't be able to put a number on that. Somebody else asked me that same question a while ago. Same answer. I wouldn't be able to answer that. I would not be able to answer that. If I see bank repossession markets go into a hard market, it will be the last alarm. XRP tokenomics suck, and they've been dumping tokens into supply. Yeah. But that's how they're making the correction for tokenomics, because they're still holding so much. But that last comment by Perspicacious, the repo markets are almost in hyperdrive. There are a lot of cars being repossessed. There are a lot of mortgages a lot of people that have mortgages that are starting to feel the pain. That's what you're looking at. I understand what you're saying. This is something else. Repossession over here. Repo, spell it out. Bank repo, meaning what? What is repo short for? You see what I mean? So I'm not worried about that bank to bank thing. I mean, I am, but I'm more worried about consumer or retail sentiment and what's going on here. Like I said, the consumer has $1 trillion in debt. That's direct debt. You're seeing major pullback in the consumer space. Next quarter's news is going to be trash. It's going to be trash. Some companies are feeling it now because they already said, well, yeah, it's going to be trash. So if those companies that are in retail, right, stores like, Target, Walmart, even online with Amazon, except Amazon is in a slightly different position because a lot of people use Amazon to save as much money as possible. They just don't realize that they could save more money by going direct to those businesses. But anyway, you have companies out there that are going to be feeling it. Restaurants, travel is taking a hit. They're going to take a bigger hit. Who was it? I think it was Delta. I think I'm pretty sure it was Delta that came out and said, yeah, I mean, we're seeing, a pullback in travel. Even corporate travel is dropping. And I'm like, ooh, that's not cute. Yeah, big deal. It's a big deal. So when you start to see that consumer stuff start to fall off, that to me is a major sign. So yeah, I'm going to pay attention. Now I'm paying attention to timing and everything else. I'm more attentive to that timing. Hutanik, you and I were both in like April, May timeframe. You were April. I was kind of like April, May timeframe. I'm sitting back and I'm kind of going, The rest of this year is going to wind up being messy. I think you're right. We could push the recession off if we do certain things. If we do certain things and don't do other things, we could push off that recession. I mean, if you want to be totally frank, we could avoid the recession. There are things that we could do to avoid the recession. So what are the things that they're trying to line up right now to try to duct tape it, like you say? Fed rates. The interbank lending market is a market in which banks lend funds to one another, yes, for a specified term. Most interbank loans are for maturities of 1 week or less, that the majority being overnight. Yes. Thank you for that, by the way. Thank you very much for that. I know it was painful with the keyboard, so I'm saying thank you. That's a very big deal. But the average person isn't going to understand why those transactions are so important. Such loans are made at the interbank rate. A sharp decline in transaction volume in this market was a major contributing factor to the collapse of 2007 to 2008. Yes. But it wasn't it wasn't, that's debatable. I was going to say something that was debatable, right? It is debatable. Because I know somebody that was involved in that. That was like in the room. Rookster, what's good? Rookster, if you hear me, don't forget, move over to YouTube because you're going to see all the videos there, just letting you know. It's copy and pasted. but you still search for it so that everybody could understand. Thank you. 2007, 2008, there was a lot going on. That's why we saw a lot of regulation happen after that time. What's troubling to me is a lot of those regulations are now being looked at to be pulled back. So what are we setting ourselves up for? Similar scenario, no? I think there are a lot of people sitting on a lot of cash that are waiting for that. Because what happens at that time? What happens at that time? People lose their homes. People that live paycheck to paycheck because they're living for their bonus. I know a whole neighborhood in Purchase, New York that happened to. Thank you, Rookster. Rookster. I keep pronouncing it wrong. I apologize. That's what I'm looking at. I saw that neighborhood. Like one of my friend lives in that neighborhood. To give an idea about how loaded this guy is, he excavated, I think, like 2 acres of property and built his multi-level house. He calls it a house. The playhouse out back for the kids, you could call a house, where he wired power and music and yeah, that's a house. I wouldn't call his house a house. I would not refer to it as a house. Beautiful. I would not refer to it as a house. But he sat me down and explained to me what actually happened. And I'm like, wow. He's like, yeah. It was not necessarily a coordinated effort. Just things happened to just... In a lot of those cases. Some of it, yeah, people knew what others were doing and they got wind of it and da-da-da-da-da. But a lot of it was just circumstance. And that's where we were. So then after that, we got a whole bunch of regulations that would hopefully stop us from doing that again. And here we are looking at a situation where we could actually repeat it again because we're creating that same environment all over again. Woohoo! Tonight's question, in case anybody missed it. Who has an ETF to track top public companies holding Bitcoin? Galaxy Digital, BlackRock, Bitwise, Fidelity. Nobody believes Fidelity would do something like that? Are you serious? You gotta be kidding me. What? So yeah, there are a lot of things happening right now that you could take. So Hutanik, you understand when we were getting into it earlier in the show? Did you understand what I was saying? This is what I'm talking about. There are just so many things. Some of them contradicting. So there's just a lot going on that when I think about it and I lay it all out and I look at that decision tree analysis, So, oof. If I deregulate banks, what can banks do? The same exact thing that they did in 2008. If I give a bank more tools, you can now stop making me laugh when I'm being serious. If you give a bank more tools, like you could provide custodial services for crypto. Ooh, deregulation and crypto. Deregulation and crypto in the banking industry. I will be thrilled when banks pop up and they go, oh, we're going to offer this service and we're going to partner with this company to provide that service. Because it'll be a third party. But if banks do, when, not even if, when banks start doing it directly, that's when I'm going to be like, oh, I don't know that that's a good thing. That's the one I'm going to be looking at. Because then a bank doesn't need an exchange, right? Which, if you stop and you think about it, a bank doesn't need an exchange, and you keep walking down that road. Banks don't need exchanges. They can do it themselves. You could see exchanges by banks, banks by exchanges. That easy. Because they can custody. And VJ Toss says BlackRock. Noted. You are my Ed McMahon. What's wrong with you? Really? Aloha 8 Paws. Thank you for doing your research. Everybody, I ask you guys every night, for those that are new, that are listening, I ask every night that you do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. So 15 minutes a day of investment research is what I ask. Because that first investment is in you. So please do that. And all I do is ask you guys, have you done your research? I know who Tanik has. I know Rick Ritchie has. I know Paula has. I know VJ Toss is doing so right now. There are certain people I know that they're doing something. You have an email. Reach out to that email. I know the emails went out. I'll tell you that. I know the emails went out. Because we only have one list of emails. So I know the emails went out. How can we do this? Tomorrow I'm swamped because I want to do it personally. Tomorrow I'm swamped. So if I don't do it tomorrow, I'll reach out directly on Thursday. Sound like a plan? To whoever didn't get an email, because you should have gotten an email. You should have gotten 2 emails, actually. One from the other day when I told you guys, and one again today. We were on a conference call, and I told my team to send it out, and they sent it out. So we'll figure it out. Like, because it's sitting there waiting for you guys. Because the group, because there are 2 people. Like I said, there are 2 people on there that have already signed up. I think Maverick is there. I think Joaquin is there. But they don't know where to go. We just put the menus in today. So we'll see. But I'll definitely take care of it. No, you didn't get it then, because you would have gotten it like this morning. So yeah, I might actually have to reach out to each one of you to make it work. But I know that at least 2 people got the emails because they verified. We can see on the system that they verified. So there's that. So I want to understand. Hutanik, you and your email? Dude, I'm not even gonna. I'm just. You know what we could do? Because the reason why it's so difficult to set you up is because no, I don't. Is because we need you to verify your emails. We can actually click verify on our end to verify your emails, considering I communicate with you guys. And that way, all you guys would have to do is show up with your email address and forgot password and go through that process. So I'll talk to the team tomorrow. Like I said, if I don't reach out to you tomorrow, I'll reach out to you on Thursday. You know what I mean? Because I want the big baggers on there. Because we have our own special group. La 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 la. So there's that. What other news was there? SEC told you about that. Told you about Bitcoin. Told you about Van Eck registering that Avalanche ETF trust in Delaware. I told you about California. Now let's get to. Hold it. Just making sure that email. Yeah, that's cute, but it messes up emails. So is what it is. Bitwise launches standard ETF, Bitcoin standard ETF, OWNB, for top BTC holding companies. The new ETF tracks firms like Strategy, Coinbase, and Tesla that hold substantial Bitcoin reserves, highlighting corporate adoption. That's the answer. It's not BlackRock, it's Bitwise. Somebody was on here mad early and they hit Bitwise, and I was like, ooh, somebody did their research. It's kind of cool. I was like, oh, somebody was, because they were quick on it. It's like I put it up and they answered like, I want to say like 2-3 minutes later. It's like, bam. But yeah, that's kind of a big deal. Yeah, I figured it was between one of, oh, now you're going to fight over who voted first? Oh, let's get the popcorn, people. Let's get the popcorn. Rick Ritchie and Hutanek are going to go at it. Just joking. I'm just joking. But you see what I mean with all the news? I mean, so you have Congress favors stable coins over CBDCs. Yeah, we know this. Rick can have it. So that's kind of interesting. I didn't vote first, but I voted right. Okay. The OKX deal, that's not smart because they're trying to deflect and bring that news back over to Bybit. I will probably never use OKX. I'll probably never use OKX. Nope. Just because of that, just because of how they're handling things right now, I probably would never. Bitcoin miners increasing their sell-off. Yeah, I can see why. There's money in it. Van Eck registering, California shutting down 26 crypto scams, Bitwise launching that standard ETF thing. What else did we have this morning? The Genius Act updated to strengthen stablecoin regulation in the United States. I'm telling you, pay attention to stablecoin regulations. Pay big attention to stablecoin regulations. The reason why I say so is because stablecoins are going to be CBDCs. Stable coins are going to be treated as CBDCs or a CBDC. That's absolutely what I think. Because you have to have, you have to have some kind of certification, blah, 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 or whatever. You have to abide by the rules of a given country to have a stable coin in that country. And there's the control. What would you be able to do with a CBDC that you can't do with a stable coin? Might be a little indirect, but it can still happen. Backed by treasury bonds and MiCA compliant. I don't know what you mean by that, sir. I don't know what you mean by that. It's not about explaining. It's about that's like the back half of the sentence. What is backed by treasury bonds and MiCA compliant? The stable coins? And what's the percentage that they have to be backed by? Something that people aren't going to understand is banks have to have a certain percentage of money on hand in order to handle any kind of, certain run on the bank kind of things. That a certain percentage of money, and that fluctuates from day to day to day. Now, when you look at something like that and you say, well, banks don't have, and they don't have to have all of it. It's a certain percentage of that money, and that calculation fluctuates from day to day to day. So that's why a lot of us have an issue with Why do stablecoins have to be 100% backed by anything? Because banks don't have to be. No bank out there can put their hands on all their money like that. Yeah, I know what it is. Stop it. So yeah, I mean, so when you think about how certain stable coins are going to be favored over other stable coins because they're supposedly dollar for dollar backed by some kind of something that has value, why can't you say that about algorithmic stable coins? It's not about the algorithm versus backed by. It's about control. It's about control. So yeah, Mica is essentially a clawback feature. Yeah. If I can't have a CBDC, I'm going to make you and your stablecoin give me a clawback feature. Or even worse, a nuclear button. We take those stablecoins and they mean nothing now. Yeah, that could happen. Stablecoins backed by BTC, but I don't know if that would be enough. I don't know if that would be enough. And I would like to know what percentage, because if you say it's going to be 100%, then USDT is not going to be able to do business in a lot of countries around the world, at least not legally. That doesn't mean that people aren't going to seek out USDT to use USDT because USD. And here's the really big issue I have. It's almost as if they're saying Tether doesn't work with government agencies to stop crime. That would be a lie because they do. A lot. A lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. When Venezuela started acting up, Tether was like, nah, we're not going to go for that. So yeah, I mean, I don't get it. PaxG is owned by Paxos, run or managed by Paxos, and I don't think so. I'm not going to say that they are immune from it. They're not. If I can put my hands on a company, right? If I can put my hands on a company, I can exact pressure on that company. Now, if I've got 10,000 people and growing around the world that make decisions about a given coin, well, now that makes it a bit more difficult. That means I have to be a bit more on the up and up, no? So I'm telling you, Cardano's got a lot of things going on that make you have to take it seriously. That's what Cardano's got going on. I'm telling you, people should pay attention. They really should pay attention. Cardano is going to go a long way. But stablecoins, I don't think I can trust a stablecoin because that means on a whim they could claw it back. There's another Eddie J on crypto. Look at what happened to me on TikTok. There could be another Eddie J on crypto. My likeness, my content, but my content's there first. I own all the domains, but they're the real Eddie J on crypto. Thanks, TikTok. That's why I freaking hate TikTok. So yeah, I just, the power to exert pressure on a company as opposed to how are you going to exert pressure on 10,000 people around the world, and that number is growing. How can you exert pressure upon those people? It would take not that it can't be done, but it would take a hell of a lot of time. It would take a hell of a lot of time. So stablecoins, yeah, really nice. But does Web3 require stablecoins? Nope. Not at all. Not at all. Cardano is the elephant in the room that no one is talking about. It is. USDA is Cardano developed stablecoin, just released with $10 million in cash. Who controls USDA? Are you saying Cardano developed USDA? Those 10,000 people came together and said, we're going to do at USDA. I'll wait for it to, if that's the truth, I'll wait for it to grow. I'll wait for it to grow up. Thank you for that. IOHK did. I will wait for it to grow up. I was wondering when you're going to fix that. I'm serious. I'll wait for it to grow up. Because as word gets around about Cardano and what it does, what it can do, what it is now, that stablecoin will blow up. I think you told me about that before. Wow. April 4th, 2024. Nah, buddy. USDA. Hold on. USDA. Hold on. I'll find the exact article. Hester Pierce, search engine giant. Too many tokens and mergers are coming. What the heck? Control F, USDA. Oh, no. That was, it found US-A, USD-A. USDM is on ADA2, but not controlled by them. Yeah, I think USDA is going to grow up. I don't know that we're going to need to send things to... So a few people are coming out like CZ and they're saying centralized exchanges are going to have to change how they make money because you're not going to need a centralized exchange in the future. Think about that. If I accept crypto at my store, I don't need a centralized exchange. If the more stores, the more retailers that accept, the more businesses, I'll say it like that, the more businesses that accept crypto, the less you're going to need an exchange, the less you're going to need a bank. I'm waiting for that one round robin to happen, meaning I own a business and everybody I do business with does crypto. Why would I deal with fiat? Makes you stop and wonder, right? Everybody's got value. Everybody I do does crypto. Okay, I'm that right there. There you go. And then that'll just keep happening and happening and happening and happening until everybody is doing crypto in one form or another. Still doing fiat, most likely, but that's how it's going to happen. That's how you're going to see the move from fiat to crypto. Just saying. Just saying. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope you had a good one. I hope you enjoy what I'm doing. I hope you enjoy the banter that we have back and forth. You know, myself, Johnny, Ed McMahon over there. And I hope all of you enjoy watching it on YouTube. Pretty soon it's going to be on YouTube and GrowMyBag.tv. My big baggers, I will have you up and running this week. It's literally nothing more than email, password, there's the site. And then we just have to update all of the stuff so that, because we're right now still producing everything and publishing everything on the old site. Now we just need to start that publishing mechanism over on the new site, sync up the data, and then we'll move everything over. But everybody's been clamoring for a place where only big baggers can talk, can chat back and forth. And we created that. For everybody else, there's also, once we start opening that beta testing up to others, there's also a regular feed where everybody can take part in that. So there's a lot. Everybody, thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And as always, thank you for your trust. It means a lot to me. Everybody have a great night. See you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye. Oh, tomorrow morning I'm probably going to be early again because I'm going back down to the city. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.